Eddie Irvine may be the slowest driver of all those included in this column. His was a different career than that of other wingmen in Formula One. More than for his contract, Irvine was a number 2 for his raw speed, never quite as good as that of his teammate Michael Schumacher. Yet, for him too, the opportunity has come to fight for the Formula One World Championship. The British driver made his debut in '93, with a weekend that will remain in history. The race is excellent, so much so that Irvine finishes 6th and therefore in the points. But it is his argument with the champion Ayrton Senna who gets all the attention. Irvine makes an attempt to unlap himself from the Brazilian with a dangerous maneuver. After the race, the discussion heats up, and Irvine takes a punch in the face from Senna. In the inaugural Grand Prix of '94, he's still protagonist in the wrong way. In Brazil, he doesn't see Jos Verstappen coming and pushes him to the grass as he tries to lap Eric Bernard's car. Irvine causes a crash of 4 cars and is banned for 3 races. In 1995, the results improved. He gets the first podium in Canada and a series of interesting results that aroused the interest of a team like Ferrari. To tell the truth though, at Maranello they're just looking for a second driver to side to the undisputed number 1, the 2-time world champion Michael Schumacher. Ferrari were not yet the winning team that would have dominated the 2000s. Precision is very difficult. The car is ready late on, and the kilometers are limited. He unexpectedly gets a podium finish in Australia after qualifying ahead of Schumacher, but this result turns out to be a one-off. Overwhelmed by problems of adaptation to the car, with an unreliable and underperforming machinery, Irvine scores only 3 times, ending the year in 11th place. Schumacher will do better, taking 4 poles, 3 victories and finishing 3rd, scoring 59 points against 11 for the British. Of that year, Irvine will say, "The car was crap. We went for Testa Fiorano at 8 AM. The track was cold, so I said to myself, the car is not bad. Then there was a failure and we spent all day fixing it. When, at the end, temperatures had dropped again, the car was okay. But one day, we fixed it by lunch and went out while it was hot, and then I realized it was impossible to drive it. It's the worst F1 I've ever driven. Yet, Schumi won 3 races," he says, highlighting the talent of the German. The second season with Ferrari goes a little better, even if in the first race he's in the eye of the storm for taking out Jacques Villeneuve. He finishes only 7th in the standings, where Schumacher fights for the title. In '98, Ferrari becomes fairly competitive. Schumacher fights for the World Championship again until the last race, but for Irvine it is the best season. He's 4th in the standings with 8 podiums. In 1999, there's the turning point. Irvine finally wins his first race in Formula One, favoured by problems to the McLarens and teammate Schumacher. In the following 2 races, he loses 2 podiums with mechanical problems, but makes up for it with a 2nd place in Monaco and a 3rd in Canada. Everything changes at the Silverstone Grand Prix. Schumacher suffers a bad accident due to a brake problem, and he breaks his leg. Ferrari remain only with Irvine to fight for a title that has been missing for 20 years. Schumacher, who was signed to win, failed for the 4th consecutive season. Does Ferrari really believe that Irvine can succeed where the German couldn't? Here starts the good and the bad side of Irvine's story. The Briton, who has only won 1 race in 85 appearances behind him, is 8 points behind Häkkinen in the standings, as surprisingly, he wins the successive 2 races. He conquers Austria after a duel with Coulthard, who hit his teammate in turn 2 in the opening lap. Then in Germany, he's ended victory by Mika Salo, substitute of Schumacher. Irvine suddenly has 52 points against Häkkinen's 44. After these victories, however, Ferrari have a decline. Irvine is still third in Hungary, but the lead is reduced to 2 points. In Monza, Irvine struggles a lot. He's only 6th. Hakkinen leads the race, and it could deliver the Coupe de Grace, but he makes a mistake, crucially, and he has to retire. With the 4 arrive at 3 races to go, with the drivers on equal points. At the Nürburgring, the race is crazy. Among rain, mechanical problems and accidents, anyone could win. Ferrari, however, create their own downfall. When Irvine returns to the pits, only 3 wheels are ready, and no one seems to go and get the 4th one. Irvine stands still for 48 seconds and drops out of the points. It could be worse for Hakkinen, who fits the wet tires on the dry track and has to make an extra stop. The Finn, however, recovered, and with only 5 laps makes the decisive maneuver. Irvine is pushed to an error and ends up on the grass, handing Hakkinen 2 vital points. It all seems over, but Schumacher returns to Malaysia, dominating and handing victory to Irvine. Shockingly, with a race to go, Eddie is first in the standings. If Hakkinen does not win in Japan, he will be champion. This type of weekend is when a champion must come out, but Irvine lacks something. In qualifying, he crashes and only starts 5th. The only one who can possibly save him is Schumacher, who manages to snatch pole position, and by winning the race, would give the title to Irvine. This does not happen. Hakkinen leapfrogs everyone at the start and flies towards victory. Irvine finishes 3rd, but 1 minute and 35 behind, practically lapped. He thus loses the World Championship that still has many unknowns today. Did Ferrari and Michael Schumacher really go all out to make Irvine win? Could somebody proud like Michael have allowed somebody else to be the hero who would bring the Maranello team back to winning ways? Well, the fact is, Irvine would still have had to try to win the title on his own, without really making use of Schumacher's help. It was clear that something was missing, given the numerous mistakes during the year. Irvine himself will say that once Schumacher got injured, Ferrari thought they had no hope of winning the title and stopped developing the 99 car. For Irvine, this is his last season for Ferrari. In the middle of 1999, Irvine confesses, "If Schumacher comes back as number 1, I'm leaving." That's what happens 6 months later. Irvine will swap with Rubens Barrichello and goes to the Jaguar, not without being quiet. Jean Todt is visibly happier when Michael wins, lamenting how the team reacted much more coldly to his victories. In Jaguar, despite the team's investments, the results are poor. Irvine will be protagonist more for controversy than for anything else. In 3 years, he gets only 7 points finishes, albeit with 2 podiums and 2 very isolated 4th places. Irvine retires in late 2002 when his move to Jordan falls. The team wanted money to get him racing, but Eddie doesn't want to be a pay driver and retires. As told, Irvine's story is one of the most anomalous. Of all the wingmen who found themselves fighting for the World Championship, he's probably the one who ended up there more by chance. Eddie, for example, has never got a pole position. 2 of his 4 victories have virtually been given to him by his teammates. But he was fine with it. He wasn't the fastest driver, and he knew it. Who knows, if Ferrari had put 100% of their effort to try and win, perhaps there would have been no domination by them in the 2000s. But sometimes, if you race for fun, the good opportunity comes. You don't have to be a Michael Schumacher or an Ayrton Senna, but it's okay to be just a simple Eddie Irvine.